Hey there, it's Scott with HVAC Technician Sales Secrets. Today's a perfect day. I want to go over a couple of ideas and concepts with you that'll really help you out with your sales process and with your communication process. And there's going to be a couple of reasons why I explain this. One is because I was a technician and I was actually out in the field. I had tools in a tool bag and I can fix equipment. Two, I've had the honor and privilege of training technicians for the past 15 years, doing pretty much daily ride-alongs, daily coaching, daily training. So I've seen real life in role play and on ride-alongs what works and what doesn't work. So if you said, hey Scott, here's what I would like to know. Where are the key places that I should role play and practice? All right, I got you. First and foremost, your door approach. The first 2 to 3 minutes of your interaction really set the tone for the entire process. If you screw up, it can be forgivable. If you screw up, you can still close a deal. But why wouldn't you make your sales process the easiest capability? And you're like, Scott, do you have an example? And I'm going to say, abso-freaking-lutely. 2006, 2007, I used to work with a guy daily. We would go to a building, and from 6 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock in the morning on our own time, Monday through Thursday, we would practice the door approach. We would get to the office at 6, we would look at each other and say, game on, game time. And then we would inspect each other's uniforms. You got creases, what do your shoes look like? What do your belt look like? What's your gig line look like? And we would go to town. I would do a door approach, he would do a door approach. I would do a door approach, he would do a door approach. And this guy was top in the United States. You couldn't beat him. He was good at what he did. And people would say, hey, we want to come role play and practice with you. We go, cool, show up. And they would show up and we say, just so you know, we start exactly at 6. 6 o'clock, the alarm goes off, we're going to get going. We don't talk about coffee, we don't talk about donuts, we do door approach. So much so that we got a furnace and we got an air conditioner and we practiced with the furnace and air conditioner in the room, right? We practiced, we put a thermostat on the wall, we practiced. So by the time that we figured it out, the proper door approach took between 3.5 and 4.5 minutes. So if you start doing the math, and start figuring out, we both had the ability to role play about 10 to 15 times in the morning. Sometimes we would go a little bit past 7, sometimes we would end exactly at 7. And people say, Scott, that sounds pretty wild. Why would you do that? And this is my thing. I say, hey, you're a technician, right? And they go, yeah. I go, when you knock on your first door, that's your practicing. If I'm knocking on my first door, I'm at my first client's house. And they'd say, okay, I'll come role play with you. And they're like, great. So here's the thing. We start at 7, we start at 6, end at 7. If you're going to be late, don't bother to show up. And so we would have people show up and they would watch and they go, you guys really do this door approach every day, every single day for an hour. Yep, we do. Now you're sandbagging it. That's not true. There's no way that this is what you do 4 days a week. No, we do. 4 days a week. Took Fridays off for something different. So we would practice the door approach over and over and over and over again, to the point that some of the people in the building that were not in the heating and air industry knew the door approach, right? They could do the door approach in the sleep because they heard us do it over and over and over and over and over again. It wasn't at the company that we worked at. It was somewhere else. We did it off-site for no interruptions, back and forth, over and over and over again. Now, the reason I bring this up is like, hey, I'm not telling you that like this is what I did because I'm so great. I'm telling you that, hey, as a technician, if you really want to be good at what you do, your first 2.5 to 5 minutes really do matter. You're setting the tone, you're setting the capability, whatever program that you follow. Now, here's what you should do. Go to HVACTechSecrets.com, right? HVACTechSecrets.com and sign up for the email. It'll be like name, email address, phone number, super easy stuff, like 3 things to put in there. And I will send you the goods because I'm not putting everything on YouTube. I got to tell you, I'm not going to put everything on YouTube. But there will be extra stuff in the Facebook group, and there will be links to that in the email, plus private trainings. So second on this list of things that you should be able to explain and practice over and over and over again is damage and explaining a part. You should be able to explain pretty much any part in 3 to 5 sentences. 3 to 5 sentences should get you the explanation of any part. Now, capacitors are the ones that usually take about 5 to 7 because it takes a little bit more to explain. But remember, your explanation of a part is not the super technical definition. It's the way to explain it so a buyer understands from their standpoint. You're not giving them the 100% I'm an engineer tech explanation. That's not your job and responsibility. You will lose people, I promise you. okay? So you got door approach, you got explaining damage. Number 3 on this list. Number 3 on this list is selling a club membership, a partnership plan, or a maintenance agreement, whatever you want to call it. And then 4th on this list is setting a lead where appropriate. Somebody says, hey, I'm interested in getting a system, and you're like, fantastic, let's call the office and let's get that set up, or fantastic, let me call the office and see what kind of time I have, okay? So there's 4 conversations for you to focus on. 1, door approach. 2, then how to explain damaged parts and pieces. 3, selling parts and pieces and club memberships, partnership plans, agreements, whatever you want to call it. And number 4, setting a lead. Those are the 4 areas. Like if you're like, Scott, I can only focus on one right now, door approach. Hands down, how you begin your sales call, how you begin your presentation has direct influence on the rest of your process. There you go. HVAC tech secrets. I think it's like right here or right there. Go there. Name, email address, phone number. Click, send. You'll get a confirmation that says you're in. Welcome to the party. And I'll get you into the Facebook group and private training. We'll see you soon. Thanks for dropping by.